You're listening to Teka Teka, and in this episode, we talk about the long awaited arrests of Alice Guo, the dismissed former mayor of Bamban, and televangelist Apollo Kibuloy. I'm Teka Teka reporter Bella Perez Rubio. I'm joined by Puma Podcast CEO Carl Javier.
Hello? Hi, Bella.
Hello. And Teka Teka executive producer Jill Caro.
Hi Bella, hi Carl.
Hi, thanks for joining us. Okay, so before we get started, a quick rundown of the arrests, and bear with me here. Indonesian authorities arrested Alice Guo on September 4, 2024, months after she fled the country in July. She was fetched via private jet by Interior Secretary Benhur Abalos and National Police Chief Romel Marbil and returned to Manila on September 6. She's set to face graft charges in Tarlac, money laundering charges filed by the Justice Department, and the Senate panel that shot her to national infamy. Duterte ally Apollo Kibuloy surrendered to authorities on September 8, 2024, ending a 16-day search of the sprawling Kingdom of Jesus Christ compound in Davao City. 2,000 cops were deployed to the KOJC compound to locate Kibuloy, who managed to evade arrest for 5 months. He's wanted on charges of sexual abuse and trafficking. Police say Kibuloy surrendered after they threatened to enter the building where he was hiding. They also revealed that while the search was ongoing, Kibuloy's legal team and the government were negotiating the conditions of his arrest. President Marcos agreed to at least one of Kibuloy's demands that the military be present during his arrest. So, all of that brings us to what we want to talk about today. The conditions of Guo and Kibuloy's arrest have sparked accusations of special treatment and inappropriate friendliness between them and authorities. We all saw selfies Guo and Kibuloy took with authorities, not mugshots, selfies. Interior Secretary Abalos posted a selfie with Alice Guo and Police Chief Marbil and has had to defend himself ever since, now claiming it wasn't a selfie. Just a few days later, Abalos posted another selfie with Kibuloy and his legal counsel, Israelito Torion, to announce his arrest. Justice Secretary Remulla has since demanded an apology from Abalos and Co. and said he wants to change this unprofessional culture among law enforcement. So, to get us started, Carl, what was your initial reaction to these arrests and the selfies?
So one, I just noticed dito sa script mo yung inappropriate friendliness. So inisip ko meron bang appropriate friendliness. Um, it is so like weird slash frustrating slash angering to me. Um, the kinds of standards that we have for how we treat people depending on the crimes that they commit. But we'll get to more of that later. My initial reaction was, this has to be AI. Yung nakita ko na picture was the one where Alice goes like in the middle of the two of them, and then may tubig, may snacks, may ganyan. Like, putya, kung TV patrol yan, di ba? Nasa police station, tapos may nananampal, ganyan. Like, I mean, I'm not wishing that upon her. But the treatment of her is so different that it really feels unfair. So, yun yung first feeling ko is, this feels so unfair. It feels so wrong. This has to be AI. Because no one in their right mind would take this picture and think, that's okay, tara post tayo, ngiti tayo, ganyan, ang luwag lang, ganyan. Um, and then I saw the selfies, and then eventually I saw the Kiboloy pic na selfie also, and it's just like, what are we doing here? What message are we trying to send? Yan.
Yeah, thanks. And Jill, what about you?
Yeah, so same with Carl, no? Actually, yung recent na pag-surface ng arrest selfies na to, where law enforcers and suspects appear over-friendly and comfortable, raises significant concerns actually about the double standards in the Philippine justice system. So in these photos, right, we can see that both the enforcers and the criminals seem more like colleagues posing for a casual snapshot than participants in a serious legal process. This image of camaraderie between the arrested individuals, often from more privileged backgrounds, because we know who Alice and who Kiboloy is, are, right? And the authorities contrast sharply with the harsh treatment many ordinary Filipinos, particularly the poor, experience when they encounter the law. It sends a very troubling message about how law enforcement operates differently depending on one's social status and power and influence. Because as we all know, for many poor Filipinos, and I guess dito din yung gagaling yung yung disgust ko dun sa nangyari. Arrest does not come with smiles and selfies, but with violence, humiliation, and disregard for human dignity. This reality is well documented in cases where suspects are summarily treated with aggression, paraded in front of the media as guilty even before trial, or subjected to dehumanizing conditions in detention. And hindi lang naman siya nangyayari din during arrest, 'di ba? So parang kahit sa mga ibang pagkakataon na may encounter with police, right? So for example, mga rallies, you can see gaano ka-aggressive yung mga police dun sa mga ordinaryong tao, no? Na hindi naman din criminal to begin with. And so this contrast between the treatment of affluent or influential suspects and ordinary citizens actually highlights systemic inequalities in how justice is administered in our country. So this selfies on a larger picture, expose a deeper issue of impunity and preferential treatment within law enforcement.
Yeah. Thanks, Jill. That was a lot to process, but yeah, yes to all of that. Also, I just wanted to share like minor personal grievance, but this was my honest initial reaction to Kibuloy's arrest in particular. I had just turned in my story about the hunt for Kibuloy. So when he was arrested a few days later, my initial reaction was like, oh my God, I have to rewrite so much of what I just passed. But, obviously it's great that he was arrested. And then my second initial reaction was like, why would Ben-Hur Abalos even think to post a selfie and think that that's okay? So I kind of played devil's advocate with myself and tried to work my way backwards. Like, why would he even think that's okay? And the only thing that occurred to me is like, okay, he wanted to post proof that these two people are finally in custody after, how many months of people waiting on authorities to finally get them. But then it's like, I realized that's what mugshots are for. Like, why would you preempt a mugshot? And so the second thought that occurred to me, oh, it's not proof. It's like credit grabbing. It's like, oh, I want to be in the photo. The first photo of Kibuloy and Alice Guo in police custody. I don't know.
I
That
don't
was
even
my
know, Bella, if that's credit grabbing as like, ako yung naka-apprehend. Honestly, feeling ko tumatawid siya sa fact na celebrity tong dalawang to. And we cannot deny
Yeah.
that like Alice Guo, as you've done a story before,
Yeah.
this goes in all of these weird different directions. And we're
Yeah.
not even treating her. So one, just to lay some groundwork, no. Alice Guo is a suspect. Right? She is not convicted of anything at the moment, but there is substantial evidence to
Yep.
issue an arrest warrant. And for some reason, tumakbo siya. So take with that what you will.
Yeah.
Kiboloy, similarly, a suspect under the FBI to be tried. The reason why they are being apprehended is so that they might face justice.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, pero how often does anybody get to ride a private jet? The luxury and the cost. So,
Yeah.
on one level, magkano ginastos para mag-private jet pabalik si Alice Guo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, dudes, aren't we all flying economy? Like,
Yeah.
that's
And
just, diba?
agree.
And then the other one is, how many people were deployed for how many days in the Kibuloy compound hunting him down? How much did we spend just to make that arrest? Habang nagdi-negotiations pala at magsasurrender siya, tapos ayan, as selfie. There's all of these levels of frustration and injustice that are going for me na. Obviously, Jill has that very detailed breakdown of it, but for
Yeah.
me, it's very visceral na. I
Yep.
think I represent a lot of the people who just saw this online and just were like, oh my God, what is going
Yeah.
on?
I just
Yeah.
wanted to add like details for people to parse and like think over. Alice Guo, not only was she fetched on a private jet, she told the Senate that she escaped on a yacht. So again, that calls back to the point that I think you both were making, that there is a real visceral element of class in this whole thing, which I think is what is setting a lot of people off. And then to your question about how much was spent trying to get Kibuloy, 2,000 cops were deployed initially. And then when I interviewed reporters from Minda News, this didn't make it to the story because I couldn't personally confirm it. But when I interviewed reporters from Minda News, they told me there was talk that 1 million a day was being spent in the effort to retrieve Kibuloy. So, to the people listening, do with that information what you will. Just something to think about. Yeah, okay. So, as you said, Carl, I think
So based on
Jill.
that budget, nakagawa na si VP ng bagong libro.
Yeah, sayang. Baka kaya galit na galit siya. Um, but yeah, I think Jill was already getting to this next point that I wanted us to hit on. But, maybe she can expound a bit more. Even on a surface level, it's easy to understand. I mean, you can see from all of our faces and our tone why it's easy to understand why these selfies are triggering to many. It's unprofessional. It trivializes these long awaited arrests of high profile individuals who are accused of committing serious crimes. But what I wanted to ask the both of you is, if you've had the chance to process more deeply which circumstances of these arrests, what exactly about them are particularly bothersome to you and why? Maybe we can start with you, Jill, since I think you already got on this point earlier.
Yeah. So, it's really bothersome sa akin. Especially when I was in college, I was a student activist, and until now I still call myself as an activist. So hindi bago sa akin yung mga balita na may naaaresto tapos dinadahas. And hearing those stories kung gaano ka-brutal yung arrest, gaano ka-dehumanizing yung process, and from arrest to detention, to imprisonment to the actual trial, and lahat na yun, masakit siyang tanggapin, mahirap siyang tanggapin. Alam ko, may mga, alam mo yun, parang, nabanggit nga ni Carl kanina, tinitignan na kasi sila as, quote-unquote celebrities. Pero still, 'di ba, hindi normal yung ganong gawain, 'di ba? Sino sa tamang pag-iisip nila yung gagawa ng ganon, 'di ba? So really hindi ko rin siya fully ma-comprehend why ano yung benefit noon sa mga law enforcers na gumawa nun. I really don't know. Pero, kasi for me, in these instances, no, it's hard not to remember, the tragic case of Jemboy Baltasar, and you know that, Bella, diba, you've written stories about Jemboy, and many other stories about victims of the drug war, right? So Jemboy is a young man who was coldly gunned down by police officers despite his desperate pleas to be let go. Jemboy was unarmed, innocent, and simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? And his story, like many others, reveals the harsh reality that for many poor Filipinos, but particularly those without influence or connections, encounters with the police can quickly escalate into violence or even death, 'di ba? Parang swerte na nila kung maa-arrest sila at makukulong or mabibigyan ng chance at trial. But karamihan dito, pinapatay. As simple lang, nanlaban, ganun. Again, we're not saying that we want the same to happen to Alice and Kibuloy. Definitely hindi. But, you see, yung ganun sobrang kalayo yung difference. So, yun yung nakakagalit, to be honest. And moreover, as mentioned kanina, cases involving human rights workers and activists paint an even darker picture of abuse by law enforcement. Many of them are denied due process and suffer physical and psychological abuse in detention, and their rights blatantly disregarded. So yung mga selfies na lumabas, they're not only tasteless, but they also serve as a painful reminder of the double standards and human rights violations that continue to afflict ordinary Filipinos. And these images, further erode public trust in the police and judicial system. Alam mo yun, meron na tayong distrust sa police since I can't remember for so long, and I think mas grumabe siya, 'di ba, nung panahon ni Duterte. Pag may nakita kang pulis, nakakatakot kasi baka arestuhin ka, pag nakikita ka na ah, um, riding in tandem, 'di ba? Nasa motor, matatakot ka, police ba 'to na naka-civilian outfit lang. So may ganun na and even 'di ba sa atin pag minsan nakakaranas tayo ng harassment, ng abuse, and even na violate yung rights natin, naghe-hesitate tayo to go to the police kasi parang we know that they're not gonna do anything, or parang i-blame pa nila tayo minsan, kasalanan mo yan, ikaw kasi bakit ka ganito, 'di ba? So yung mga ganito, parang hindi siya nakakatulong sa image ng police and the judicial system at all, kasi it further ano lang yun nga, further ine-erode lang nila yung trust natin. So when people see that some suspects can afford to be comfortable in the face of criminal allegations while others suffer, it reinforces the perception that justice is skewed in favor of the powerful. So beyond the optics of these photos, this issue underscores the urgent need for accountability and reform in law enforcement to ensure that justice is applied fairly and equally, regardless of one's power and influence and economic status.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot to think about. Thanks, Jill. What
I,
about
lo-
you, Carl?
I love that Jill speaks in essay. Ganyan.
Yeah. She does it well.
Sobrang detalyado. And thanks, Jill, for touching on basically the drug war, implications of this. And, suspects were not even, di ba, parang you are a drug personality, therefore, pwede ka nang patayin. You weren't even afforded an arrest.
Yeah.
And for me, the thing here is I'm flipping it in my mind to what happens if a policeman, kasi usually dudes sila, whatever. But if these are dudes in these pictures mostly, except for
Yeah.
yung NBI selfie ni Alice Go na para sila magro-road trip, diba? Another thing, mas lalong nakakainis lang. But if you flip it around and you think of, if arresting officers were doing this to someone who was underprivileged, how would we feel? Or if arresting officers were doing this to someone who was wrongfully accused. So, ang dami, no? Parang, kunwari, and just an example na malapit sa atin, we know of journalists who are still unfairly jailed up to now. And so, imagine kung merong selfie yung police na nang huli, tapos nandun sa background yung journalist na yun, or even papayag ba yung journalist na, ayan, selfie tayo, magse-selfie tayo, that erodes the person's dignity. If the police were doing that to every person that they arrested. And so I think there's that level of dignity that we fail to afford everyone in our society. And I bring this up sort of connected to Jill. I don't think I can ever lay claim to activism dahil lang sa what activists actually do and sort of the limited things that I have done. But I have volunteered in jails, and I've seen what it's like in those jails where there are people who have been arrested and they spend so much time in there because they never get their court date, and they've spent more time in jail than they would have to spend serving their sentence. And it's there that they get criminalized. It's there that awful things happen to them, abuses. And it's just a factor of there's not enough resource being given to the jails. There's not enough resource in our criminal justice system. It doesn't work properly, and so on and so forth. And then you turn around and you see this. And these are the most high-powered people. Parang no joke. I can honestly, maybe, forgive natin yung nasa loob ng sasakyan tapos nag-selfie sila kasi celebrity yung hinuli na tinatransport nila. Pero for the secretary of the DILG to operate in this manner, and this man is not like someone who just walked off the street at biglang marami nang naging posisyon yan. Tapos ganyan yung iaasta niya, that feels off to me.
Yeah.
And no one said, bro, wag mo i-post yan. Di ba? Parang, may mga layers yan of, maybe that's a bad idea. Wag muna natin i-post. Wag natin ilabas yan. And so, there's that dignity factor that there are certain people who are afforded dignity in the world. And there are certain people who are given privilege. And if you think about the crimes that these two are accused of, and the privilege that they're being afforded. I mean, my God, sex trafficking. Tapos makikiselfie ka with a sex trafficker, potential accused. Like,
Ew,
Yeah.
that's
it's just,
disgusting.
diba?
Ew.
And it brings down the dignity of all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
feel
they're acting
I
on
have
our
feelings.
behalf.
They are
Yeah.
acting on our behalf. They are our representatives.
Yeah.
Diba?
I
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, another detail that really irked me was finding out that there were negotiations involved in Kibuloy's arrest. I mean, what other alleged criminal would be afforded that privilege? I mean, and President Marcos was on record when I was working on the Kibuloy story. He was on record saying that Kibuloy is not negotiating with us. We're not negotiating with him because he has no right to. I think he doesn't understand the fact that we're pursuing him and he has no negotiation power. President Marcos said something along those
Also,
lines. So,
he
but then
didn't
when he was
surrender
yeah,
though, right? Like, he only surrenders because
yeah,
nando na sila. Like,
yeah,
na-corner na nila siya. Kaya lang siya
yeah,
nag-surrender. And
yeah,
so, if they were able to effectively negotiate their way out of it, di ba, what would those negotiation terms look like?
yeah. I mean, it just strikes me as wrong that there were negotiations to begin with. And also the fact that, I mean, to your point about the sorry condition of our jails, some of the worst jails in the world, according to experts. One of the things Kibuloy was trying to negotiate is which jail he's going to. Which, like, what other detainee ever got that chance? I mean, we
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, I don't think he was able to choose. But the fact that that was even on the table, like, who are you to make demands of law enforcement when you're wanted for these
Yeah.
heinous crimes,
Keeping
allegedly?
in mind, they detained Leila de Lima for years.
Yep.
Kakalabas lang niya.
Yeah.
Diba? Gigil na gigil sila to jail her and detain her.
Yeah.
And here we are with these people that, well, whatever. Let's see. Let's have some. Let's be lenient to them. I cannot fathom the feeling of just. I think we keep hitting the point of unfairness. That
Yeah.
there are some people who are afforded this, and there are some people who are not. And maybe that's where we end the conversation. Is if we zoom out, we actually do live in a society where we don't jail criminals
Yeah.
all the time. In fact, we will vote them into office if we like them enough. And
Yeah.
that's a problem for us. That consistency. Hindi naman sa ina-expect kong like Kantian categorical imperative to everything. But we should have some level of consistency to how we pursue justice as a society.
Yeah. I mean, to that same point, I think what I want to close on is this whole debacle, both debacles. There are two things that have been proven to me, and those two things birth a million questions each. Okay. Number one, we are like our law enforcement is capable of conducting bloodless arrests, and they're capable of doing it in the proper order, meaning obtaining a warrant first and then seeking to arrest, and
Mhm.
then
And
able
then
to
pwede
do
ba
it.
ako mag-negotiate?
Yeah, able to do it without bloodshed. 2,000 policemen in one compound, no injury as far as we know, no deaths, right? So again, I think it's no surprise that all three of us thought of the drug war, because
Yes.
it's, diba, one cop in a house and somehow two deaths, including a child.
We've watched that
Like,
on video, right?
yeah. So what is this narrative that they fought back, so we had to kill them, when it's within your capacity to conduct an arrest on this level, right? So I mean, one, I don't think they can credibly say anymore that these accidents happen over the course of an arrest, and that is an excuse for police committing murder. You've already proven to us that you're sophisticated enough to avoid those
Or you
situations.
just have the capacity. It's not
Yeah.
even
If
sophistication, it's
you
just the
care enough
capacity.
about the lives on the line, you can do it. I mean, the police were so peaceful. The what they seemed to be scared of was the people in the compound inciting violence, which, who knew that our law enforcement could be that peaceful? And then number two, last and final point, another thing that was proven to me is no one is untouchable. No one is above the law as long as there's enough political will to back up holding them accountable. Like this is happening because the Marcoses have a bone to pick with the Dutertes. So we are being shown how far political will can take us in terms of accountability. It's unfortunate that it's happening because of a feud, but I think now it's impossible for our leaders to say that, oh, that person's
Yeah.
untouchable and that's why they haven't been arrested. Because now we see that if there is political will, anyone can be arrested. Kibuloy can be arrested,
And it's
right?
dependent on political favor.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, both those two things are like good on the surface, but then, you have to ask 100 questions after those
Oh,
two
I,
things.
I
So,
just have one simple question: is if I get arrested, do I get a selfie or do I get shot?
yeah.
Because both are possible,
Yeah.
but one is likelier than the other.
Yeah.
And I think that's what everyone needs to ask before you jump to either defending or anything else like that. If you were arrested, what can you expect? And I think, syempre, eto tayo, nag-English, and, we're doing a recording and all of this stuff. We can relatively expect that if we were ever pulled over, and we started speaking English and we pulled out our phones and all of this stuff, that shows us already a level of privilege that we exercise in society, and realizing even more parang just kung tayo nga we feel this injustice and we feel the threat, I will never not be afraid of the police.
Yeah.
Like that's just from experience. um if we know all of these things, then what more for the rest of society that does not have the privileges that we hold?
Yeah. I think that is as good a place as any to end it. So thanks for listening to this episode of Teka Teka. Thank you, Carl and Jill, for having this conversation with me. As I mentioned, we have an episode that takes you inside the final and robust attempt to arrest Kiboloy in the KOJC compound. We'll link that in the show notes for those interested. If you found this insightful, why don't you share it with a friend who might also enjoy this discussion? This episode was hosted by me, Bella Perez Rubio, and it was edited by Pidoy Blanco, with editorial support from our editor in chief, Carl Javier. Make sure you follow Teka Teka on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts so you can continue to get slow news that matters to you.